Alright guys, so this is going to be a quick video on how to change the MoPub IDs, and I actually showed you guys that in the last video, so I don't think I need to show you that again. I think you get the point. But I'm going to be showing you some basics on how the game is, how it should be reskinned, and what you need to do uh, to actually reskin the game. So, and I'm just going to be showing you guys how the asset directories work, how the graphics work, how everything is integrated, and yeah. So it should be straightforward, and I'm gonna give my Eclipse a second to open up, and we'll be ready to get started. So I'll go ahead and show you where the graphics are located. So all the graphics, if you remember in the first video, um, we moved our assets folder to the workspace we're working in. I'm working in workspace 14. You can, if you're working in workspace 1 or 2, whatever you're working in, go to that workspace. And what you'll see the assets folder we made here. And this is the folder that contains all the fonts, graphics, you name it, it contains everything. So if you go ahead and open it up and go into the map here, this contains all the levels of the game. So it has, I'm not really sure how many levels it has. Let me see here. Looks like it has about 130, let's see, 145 levels. So 145 levels. And if you ever need more levels, just feel free to contact me and we can discuss it. And data here, the data here, this is basically this is where all the graphics are. So if you look here, you'll see some sound files, you'll see some texture packed atlases. If we open this up here, you'll see this, and this is basically the level selection atlas that we create with the texture packer tool, which I'll be including inside of the source code package. I'll be including that, and I'll show you guys how to use that in a second. And so yeah, this is basically what we have here. This is the background, the buttons, the icon buttons, the back button there, and so we have it all laid out on the atlas. It makes it easier to load. So, and we have the main menu there, and then we also have the game scene here. And the game scene, it contains the door, the cutscenes, which is the failed pass level pass scenes, um, and you can see here we have the game backgrounds here. You can see here we have the two game modes right there, and we have the door icon or door graphic. We have the pause, resume button. Um, so yeah, and if you need to know like the dimensions of each graphic, then you can actually look inside the graphics folder in the source code package, and you can see the actual dimensions. So yeah, so here's the font. We have the font files here. I would leave that the same. I wouldn't change that. I mean, you can pretty much use that. It's just a font. Dialogues here. These are like dialogues to like to pause, help, share on Facebook, sound on, sound off options, things like that. And those are pretty much all the graphics. Let me see here. What else were we missing? I think we had jelly somewhere. Okay, cool. Here we are. So, and you see here we have the jellies. So we have the little guy you're gonna rescue. This guy here, 2 frames. And if you look at each each jelly, they all have 2 frames. So if you look at this blue jelly here, he has 2 frames. Look at the green, he has 2 frames also. And these are basically like when he's not touched and when he is touched, his eyes open. And so if you ever wanted to reskin that, you basically need to have 2 frames. You'll need to have a frame where once he's touched, you'll see the eyes open, and when he's not being touched, the eyes closed. And I'm going to show you guys really quickly how this all looks. So if we wanted to reskin the game, we could just, for example, I'm going to show you guys I'm gonna go into the source code, and I'm going to the game screen, and I'm gonna show you guys about the jellies, how this works. This is like the main thing. Um, so yeah, so I'm gonna go to the touch method. On touch down, here we are. So on touch down, and as you can see here in this method here, we're doing a bunch of stuff. But the main thing is, you see here, we're actually changing the the frame or the graphic. So when the blue sprite is touched, and if he's touched, then what we do is we go to our jelly texture atlas, and we tell it to find the region called blue 2. And when you're reskinning it, you want to make sure all the names that whatever your name your graphics, they match up with whatever is being used here in the code. So yeah, so we changed from this one to the blue 2, and this is, I guess, the blue 1. So yeah, and it's the same thing for the green, etc. You can kind of go through the code and look at the green 2, green 1, blah blah blah. And you also, if you look at excuse my voice, guys, if you look at the touch up, you'll see it change also here too. So you'll see when the user lifts his finger up, we set it back to the blue 1, which is the first that first graphic, that first texture right there, that first one with the eyes closed, and etc. We do that for all the jellies too. So that's pretty much the basics with reskinning that. Everything else is straightforward. Let's see what else. Let me see what else we need to discuss. So I'm gonna show you guys really quickly some other things. Show here, and excuse my voice, man. So here the levels are loaded through tiled. So we're using tiled, basically the tiled map editor, to load the board. And as you see here, this is where we load our texture atlases. So the game screen graphics, we basically load that game scene graphics atlas there, and it's located in the data. So we look inside we go into desktop, look in the assets folder, data, and we go to, where did it say? Yeah, game scene. So it will be here. We'll see the game scene graphics right here, atlas. And if we open this up, you'll see that it has reference to all the textures. See, all those textures: game background challenge, game background relax, blah blah blah. And so we use that to load the graphics. So if your question is, how do I create the atlases, or how do I do it? So I'm gonna show you really quickly. It's really easy to do. It's a simple tool called Texture Packer, which I'll be giving you guys in the along with the source code. So let me just go to my here, jelly, and where are you? There you are. So I'm just going to move this here so I can include it with the source code for you guys. Current projects, source code, and I'm going to go ahead and put this here. I put it in assets, and copy that. Copy. And just to make sure I do this, I don't make sure I don't forget it. You guys be really mad at me. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up really quickly. Just double click it and it'll open up, and you should see a window, something like, if it ever opens up, there you are, something like this. So you see GDX Texture Packer, and what you're gonna do is to create a new texture pack. All you need to do is go to new pack, and you can name it whatever. I'm just gonna name mine A. You can name it whatever, it doesn't matter. And the input directory, so basically you need to provide a whole folder with all the graphics that you want to include on this GDX texture file here. And keep in mind that you want to keep the max page width to 1000 by 24 and and the height by 1024 also. And you want to change the min filter to leaner, change both to leaner. It makes the graphics show up a little bit clearer. And you also want to, so the input directory, so if you want all the main menu files to be on one texture sheet, then what you need to do is you need to simply just you need to add all those texture, the graphic files to a specific folder and call it main menu or something, and then you would just go to that main menu folder and you would just reference that, choose as your input directory, and the output directory you can use the same thing. You can push it straight to that same folder, and then the file name you can actually just call it you can call it like main menu, and then you just do pack selected or pack them all, whichever one, and it would just create it for you. As you see, I don't have anything there, and you just do pack selected, and then it'll provide the atlas file, which you see here. It'll provide the game scene. It'll provide the atlas file, which is basically text file referencing the graphics, and it'll also provide the PNG, as you see right here. So that's the basics with reskinning. Oh, also for the Android version, if you want to change the advertising, right now it uses I don't even remember what it uses. Let me open it up real quick just to see. Source Android. I think we use, let's see, libs. I think I'm just using AdMob right now. But if you want to integrate more, we can do that. It's not a big deal, not a problem. You can do that too. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. And I'm just going to show you guys real quickly how to replace the AdMob ID. You just need to go to the main activity when you import it into your Eclipse. Open it up, and you just want to change the add unit ID here, right there, and that's it. So just set it to yours, and that's about it, and you'll be good to go. Alright, so that's it for reskinning the game. I hope this video helped. It's not a video to actually walk you through a full reskin, but it's just a video I decided to include just to help you. I'm not really required to do it, but I like to see everyone, I like to make it easier for you guys, so I hope that helps, and good luck.